This episode of the Grand Rising Show was brought to you by Autochthonous Assembly, where the real work gets done. Autochthonous Assembly is a gathering of the minds that do the work. Now, for many of our first-time subscribers and first-time visitors, you may be wondering who Autochthonous Assembly are. You can find this information about our mission statement and our core values on the website at autochthonousassembly.com/about. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to raising up Indigenous American voices by using genealogy, also known as family history, or your family tree, which is the study of families and the tracing of their lineages and history. Genealogists use oral interviews, historical records, genetic analysis, and other records to obtain information about a family and to demonstrate kinship and pedigrees of its members. Our core values are the foundation of our company, which is essential to our success and serve as a lens through which we evaluate every business decision. Those core values are, but are not limited to, integrity, which is knowing and doing what is right; respect, which is treating others the way you want to be treated; responsibility, which is embracing opportunities to contribute; and servant leadership, which is serving the common good. Now, at Autochthonous Assembly, we have a couple of goals here. And our first goal and foremost of the reason why we do everything that we do is to ensure that we help you do your genealogy and connect back to your tribe and find out where you are from. Everything that we do from the standpoint of the Grand Rising Show and all the information that's posted on the website is dedicated to that one specific purpose, helping you find your genealogy, find your relatives, find your family so that you will know exactly who you are. And if you choose to, tie back into your tribe, whether that tribe is a Native American tribe, an American Indian tribe, whether it's allowing you to determine which house in Africa that you belong to, or what clan of Scandinavia or Europe or France that you belong to. Either way, our goal is to do just that, help you find out who you are so you know exactly where to start. We are not here to tell you who you are, and we're not here to tell you who you are not. We're just here to help you discover your beginnings. Another one of our missions is to help you become financially independent so that you can help your generations for the next 7 generations and be able to put a stable foundation for you and your relatives. And if you should choose to use this information that we provide free of charge to help not only yourself, but your community and your tribe, then we will do everything in our power to make sure that gets done as well. And remember, our goal here is to make sure that we help you get exposed to this information to put you in the best situation possible. So now what I'm going to do now is return it back over to the panel to see if there was anything I missed, and I will go ahead and get set up so we can get ready and get digging into this information. Panel, take it away.
Warning, warning, warning. Hard hats, pickaxe, shovels, boots required.
Grand Rising, Grand Rising. Hopefully everyone's doing well this rise. This Monday, the last Monday of 2019. We hope everyone had a great weekend. Was able to impact their community. So how's everyone on the panel doing?
Great.
Say that
Yep.
through grit teeth.
Great.
Oh man. Okay.
Grand rising to all the relatives out there.
Yeah, grand rising everybody. To everybody. Hopefully everyone's doing well. Man. Yeah, y'all gonna have to forgive us. It's a short turnaround. Hopefully you had the opportunity to check out Doodoo Vision. Talking about Ladino. There's a lot of good information in there. And he's gonna be releasing the words, the Ladino words. So I mean I was excited about that. I'm sorry, go ahead, Bones.
Yeah, it went down. It went down last night.
Yep. Meet me in the trap. Chat. It's going down.
Somebody is sleepy loopy, so they're sloopy. How you doing this rising, Gabrielle?
I is here.
It's going to be very interesting Monday rising. Yes. But I want to say peace and grand rising to all those that have registered for the forum and logged, and got your accounts and started accessing the libraries and the forum and looking at Ain't Television and just, accessing information and also posting stuff in the forum. We want to appreciate y'all. I want to say appreciation and thank you for that. Also, grand rising and shout out to those that are subscribing to the YouTube channel, even though we do not, or we very rarely do YouTube lives now. So I want to say peace and grand rising to you.
You.
Yeah, I want to say peace and grand rising to the silent majority, because you guys and gals, men and women, boys and girls of all ages, are the ones that make every organization, every group work. It's those that not necessarily are saying anything, but y'all are the ones doing the majority of the behind the scenes work. You're the reason why every organization exists. Just know that. So I want to say peace and shout out to you. And to the best chat on Earth. That was Doodoo Vision says on the cosmos. Hopefully everyone's doing well. Hopefully everyone's enjoying themselves. And I'm gonna go ahead and start the roll call this rising. So I'll start with the website chat and say peace and grand rising to copper colored ancestor. Peace and grand rising to feathered dragon. You're gonna have to come on one day, feathered dragon, and have a discussion about them feathers. Anyway, grand rising and peace to Michael Harris Brown Cheek. Grand rising to Mr. TJ, aka Ratchet Man. Phoenix Rose, aka Bang Rames. You ain't changed your picture back yet, Bang? Anyway.
I'm about to. Ooh, I'm about to.
Grand rising Queen Copper. Grand rising Tiny. What happened? Tiny? Oh yeah, Tiny. T-Tiny 04044. And so who else did I miss? Oh, Grand Rising Macadon 1. So hopefully if I missed you, let me know. Because that's all I see right now. And I only give a shout out to the people that are actually here and registered and signed in.
Bones just showed up. What happened?
I've been talking to Bones since before the show started. What are you talking about?
But there was a Bones that showed up in the other chat too now.
It's the same bones as on the panel. Heavens and Murgatroyd. Exit stage left. Oh, hey, did anybody wake up? Don't sell out.
Oh man. Yeah, someone hold on.
I'll
Let
reach
me get
out to
the
him real quick.
okay.
I was like,
He's still counting broccoli.
we forgetting somebody. Somebody is amiss. Somebody is missing. That would be Brother No Sellout.
Yeah, he's still counting broccoli, laying on his leaf pillow.
You are really doing a phenomenal job of describing his couch, his vegan couch.
I'm telling you.
Yes, good job, good job. Good job. I'm just saying so.
I'm saying you started it though.
Who? I started it.
Yes, you did. Remember? You started it. When you started describing his couch, and we figured and found out and described it as being biodegradable.
Oh yeah, I don't remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Oh, it's Monday, man. What you want? Stop playing with me. Stop picking with me. So let's go ahead and hit this clock.
Ooh, Fun Day.
You said fun day. What happened?
Fun Day. Friday, Monday, Fun Day.
Oh, on Friday.
Yeah, that's what it was. My Friday. I could. I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Mr. TJ said what I missed last night. How you gonna ask what you missed last night after you already missed it and we already talked about it? Where you been? How many did you keep up? Ratchet Man. Do the Vision did a build on Ladino. So
Yeah, really, really, really good. Really should be watched and rewatched and then rewatched again and then rewatched, saved, downloaded. Those are really, really good. Really, really good video.
I would watch the one about corn first and then watch that one.
And it's crazy because as much excuse me, sorry. As much back and forth and paying attention to timelines and different stories and perspectives that are given, the one thing that keeps or one of a couple of things that keeps coming up that debunks perceived stories or whatnot is that corn, the mesa. No, I mean, regardless of what it's called in different languages or in different areas, what is really interesting is that all the stories or the origin stories still make the corn foreign to whatever landmass that we're reading about or talking about. Not one time dealing with the Americas has corn ever, as far as I know, corn hasn't been described or referred to as foreign. And it's also in the Americas always been referred to and spoke about to be shared, traded, or given out elsewhere. So it's really interesting to see that corn actually debunks a lot of things.
Yeah, one of the key things that James always talks about is that Mayan culture is a culture, it's not a race. And
Right.
that agriculture is something that these pundits never talk about. These scholars, they never talk about it. Well, you can't talk about it if you're going to deal with history and you talk about the famine. Well, what was it that helped these people through the famine? The
Right.
storehouses of corn, or as they say in Africa, Indian corn.
Right.
So if these storehouses were used for famine, and it's been already been proven by the scholars, however you want to indicate it, that maize is at least 10,000 years old,
Right.
and it's at least 10,000 years old, and it had to be manipulated. It's man-made, so that means somebody had to put or develop a new crop, basically a new crop or a new seed in order for maize to grow. So it doesn't grow naturally. So that means there were some scientists in agriculture that helped this product come to fruition before there was an Africa, before
Mm-hmm.
there was a Germany, before there was a France, before there was an Egypt. So yeah.
And add on top of that that the Micmacs go back to at least 13,000,
Ooh yeah, the Micmac.
and they
Man.
have and they are the oldest actual writings in North America.
Right.
And they are the indigenous peoples of Nova Scotia, northern part of
Hmm.
Canada.
Which Nova Scotia, when you really think about it, um, you really, well, for me, when I think about it, it's like, okay, Nova Scotia, Canada. That shows to me there's one of many truths and proofs how the tribes and the Indians there influenced the French.
But now you also should know too why they would take particular people that they would label slaves later on to Nova Scotia. Remember, you had a group of people fighting to
Oh,
go to Nova Scotia because they wanted to go back home. Those wasn't Africans; those were Micmac descendants.
right.
And Bones, remember when I told you I had, and people in the chat have heard me talk about it. I found a a passport from Nova Scotia in my family records, and I told you that tie into the Micmac side of the house of the tribe. So I mean
Mm-hmm.
everything's basically lining up. So so far, Micmac or Mi'kmaq meaning the person, Micmac meaning the tribe or the culture, and then Chichen Itza is where what I'm at right now. So that's what it is. So
Mm.
yes, good people. So yeah, when you get a chance, because I'm about to go back and rewatch it, because I wasn't there for the whole bill, but definitely want to give Doodle Vision a shout out for again sharing his wisdom and also you know his significant other dropping the links in the chat. And what people don't realize is she knows and she's familiar with Ladino. So for those people that's trying to put this mess out here that it's a language that started in Spain, and all you have to do is do a Wikipedia lookup on Ladino. It says that the Spanish started calling what is it Astro Asians or Austro Asians and Filipinos
Mm-hmm.
Ladino in the 16th in the 1600 from the 16th to the 1900s. Well, if
Mm-hmm.
that's the case, then they didn't come across this language until after the Micmac created it, because the Micmac was been in Nova Scotia for how long? 30,000 years or something.
Dating back 13,000, dating back 13,000 years.
Uh, so 13,000 is a lot. Goes back a lot further than the 1600s, huh? Or the 1500s, or the 1400s. Mm,
Yes, they do.
okay, just checking. So when people try to say it's native to Spain, mm-mm. It was native to the Ottoman Empire or to the Berbers. Mm-mm.
But you know what else is interesting?
What's that?
so-called European history tries to tell you that there was either nobody here or it was very little numbers here, right?
Right.
But this is why it's very important to do genealogy, to learn tribal history and cultures. Because when you study the Micmac in their own writings, they were identifying the other tribes in the East. We as well know the full population of Nova Scotia was all Micmac. So if there's all Indians in what we call Canada, they can tell you about the Indians that we call America. We can read about the Indians of South America. Obviously, there was people here.
Right.
It's another one of them conversations I don't even understand why it's even entertained anymore.
I mean, honestly, yeah. And I mean, you got to think, if people aren't doing their genealogy, people can tell them anything. I mean, I've done mine, and a lot. That's not even a lot. All of what is gone over lines up and definitely makes more sense of everything that I've. Which, you know what? I'm really glad that I was able to pull records first versus pictures.
What would have happened if you just pull pictures first, Gabrielle?
The same disillusion that I thought I was going to see when I started my genealogy, that misunderstanding of the difference between white and black, or so-called white, so-called black, should I say. It's not, excuse me, it's not cut and dry. Not all things are black and white. And doing your genealogy, you understand that so-called white isn't what you think it is, and so-called black isn't what you think it is.
And that's being said I'm sorry, go ahead. No, you good. I interrupt you. Go ahead.
No. I was just saying pictures. I know the saying. A picture can say 1,000 words or something to that effect, right?
Yeah, but the question is, nobody's going to ask us what 1,000 words does it say?
Right. Pictures can also be misleading.
Yep.
I want to send a shout out and grand rising to EJ Coppertone, Celestial Love. Peace, grand rising. Hope y'all are doing well. EJ Coppertone was in the chat this rising with us. When bringing in ruckus. So yeah, we was just talking about that Ladino, talking about Choctaw Jimmy, James Flame, aka Doodoo Vision, bringing the heat. So yeah, man.
I just say this, and people can take it however they want. It is not until doing my genealogy, listening and pulling, and I appreciate all the time and effort that you guys spend pulling information and making it available. But once doing that, there's conversations that I have with different people. Oh, we're all this. No, I'm not. Well, we all are. I'm not part of we. No, I'm not. Yeah. My genealogy say different. Wait a minute. You tell somebody else that, not me. Yeah. Wait a minute. Yeah, actually, for real. Wait a minute. Not me. Tell the next person. That don't even make sense.
Speaking of backup singers and sound bites, No Sellout is on the panel. Grand Rising,
oh, shoot.
No Sellout. How you doing,
Grand
brother?
Rising, double cousin, you made it.
Grand Rising, y'all. Peace to the panel. Peace to the chat. And I was up.
You know what? We're gonna have a post-production meeting, and I like your morning voice better than my morning voice, so I think we should switch roles. Just a thought.
I'm gonna go on mute.
Don't he? I mean, but don't he have a? Doesn't he have a radio show
Ain't that? I'm
voice?
about to call human resources. Hey y'all. Hey, where human resources at? This man talking about role reversal at work. We ain't doing that.
I didn't sign up for that. Hold on. Wait a
I
minute.
ain't saying, nope, that is not in my contract.
Man,
Let me go
can't
back to
even
this
be
NBA
nice to
real quick.
nobody. Compliment. I'm just saying. You got a
I'm just
radio. You got a
saying.
radio voice, dude. You got one of them voices that that everybody can just chill with. I'm just saying.
Sound like work.
Did he say sound like work? Wow.
What you don't like work?
I got work to do.
I got a job, man. I got a job.
EJ Capitone says, "How you this far without doing genealogy? People so backwards."
Yeah, they so backwards, they bass backwards.
Quinn Copper says,
Really?
Papa that piece." Yeah, I had to blink when you said peace to the panel and peace to the chat.
What them hard blinks like I was right in your face. It's like, bro, I feel the air from the peas, bro. Feel the
I
air from
felt
the
the
peas.
intent. I felt the
It
intent.
feel like I just got my pupils dilated. That
Well,
little
that's the-
nice stream of air that they put, the puff of air in your eyeball.
Like what them ugly Run DMC glasses they put on you after you get your pupils dilated.
Mm.
They tell you to walk this way. Man, you just walk me into a wall. What you doing? Can't see
For
nothing.
real.
Grand Rising Power 10-9. Hope you doing
But
well
that's
this
the
rising.
thing, though, y'all. That history and genealogy go hand in hand. And if you don't put them together, it makes it harder for you. An example is you doing genealogy. You see people dropping off of census and popping back up and this and that. But now you do the history and you're able to find out what was going on at this particular time in history where your people was living, which would explain why they moved from here to there, why these said it's on the census, why this said it's not on the census. It goes hand in hand. You got to use it together to unravel the story. Or not, you just chasing dots, but you don't know what's going on. That's why the timelines are very important, because the timelines will help clarify a lot of things in your family story, in your personal family tree.
Grand
Can I add
Rising Doodle
something?
Vision. We just talking about you doing a thing this rising and dropping an info about Ladina. We definitely appreciate you. I'm sorry, Gabby. Go ahead.
Oh, no. Grand Rising Do Division. Yeah, I wanted to add. Okay, I'm still catching up.
Shout
I
out
wanted to add.
Jantos.
I wanted to add something to that, and here's why. Not only with doing genealogy do you pull records like, okay, this is great grandmother, grandfather, uncles, cousins. You pull records to see where they were born, when they were born, and all that. You actually pull. I've actually pulled, not just for myself but other people. You pull family stories. It's really surprising at times to see how much of someone's life is put down on a record. Like when they were younger, little stories tied to it, or when they were older, if they fought in the war, what happened during that war, if they fought in a battle, and how they may have written it down. So it's, what's it called? Archived or preserved? It's scanned in it, but it's preserved. It's really interesting and it's really amazing. Whether you want to take it in a positive or a negative way, but it's still amazing to see that those records were kept, that you find that you have a 6th great grandfather who wrote down his encounter in a battle, and when he moved from another landmass, if it was coming from over ship or just was migrated, however it was, to see that intact and put together to give you even more detailed, detailed of, this is my family, this is my ancestry, this is a story that ties into the story of me. if that makes sense.
It does. It definitely does. So, y'all ready to hit this clock so we can get back to work?
Play no games. Play no games.
Yeah, I
What?
know, right?
What
Moving right
happened?
along.
That,
Mono.
you know what?
Play no games.
I'm hitting the daggone clock. Stop it. Just-
I don't even know what happened.
Y'all just mean. No reason.
Wow.
You know what TMH be doing
Says the
sometimes,
meanie.
Gabby? He,
Huh.
you know that you remember back in the day when you used to have to put the baseball bat vertical, just stand and put your forehead on the bat, and then turn around in a circle,
Yes.
and then try to go swing it off the tee. That's TMH. He'll turn you around in a minute. You ready to punch this clock? He's like, but I asked a question.
Yeah,
That
I
was a
making
question.
statement. Like, wait, what happened? Did I say something wrong? Hold on. Should I have been quiet? Okay.
Watch when we hear the playback. That I don't wanna. It's gonna be real. He actually got the clip. It wasn't me. It's all right. Guess he already hit the clock. We working. Gabrielle,
We gotta stop. He a little bit
What-
too quiet right now. I feel like the mutiny about to start.
Oh, let me just do it myself.
You can't mute me. I'ma mute myself.
Mm-mm-mm.
Oh, he's still quiet.
Mhm.
Something wrong.
He writing music now. I don't wanna mute these lanes. Mute these lanes.
But y'all can't hear me? Y'all can't
We
hear
can
me?
hear you.
Y'all...
Oh, we hear.
Oh, we hear you. Hold on.
Oh, he must have muted us. See, man, we can't. We
Ain't
can't find
nobody-
out till tomorrow.
Ain't nobody
Did
muted
he
y'all.
mute us?
No, I didn't mute y'all. Y'all can still be heard. I promise you.
No, he.
Look, I hear your audio kind of wonky right now, Gabby. What's going on?
It's
He
not
look,
me.
he got the secret of the ooze over there, turning us into mutants. Tokar and Razor is who we are. Bebop and Rocksteady. Come on, man. Unmute me.
See how y'all do me?
Oh, we are on Turtle Island.
Hey, look, see? Well, y'all playing
See?
Master Shredder over here.
All I'm saying is just stop it. That's all I got.
I'm warning ya.
Oh, just
All
stop
right.
it.
Okay, Gabrielle, I'm about to cause a divide. You about to be left with this one question. Who about to read? Oh, everybody go on mute. Oh, okay. you see how they do me, balls? Everybody quiet.
Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-doo. Fly
If
on
that
this bird
was
out here.
instant, like the Allstate commercials started.
What's in your hand?
Hey, don't get BF'd. I almost didn't mute. I almost left it off and just went silent. Still get an answer either way.
You know what? You know what?
Wait, where are we at? What's my motivation?
No.
She ready? She ready?
No. You know what? I'm gonna read.
Mm.
Yeah,
And,
but I still need to know where we're at.
well, I'm about to tell you.
You about to drop
Okay,
the link?
direction reflects leadership. Just let me know.
We're under the paragraphs
See?
of Cortez gains 2 translators, and
We're under the paragraph. Hold on.
can I finish?
Yes, you can. You can
Yes, the title
Yes,
is
you can.
Cortez gains 2 translators, and we've already read the first 4 paragraphs, and we're in the middle of the 5th.
So the middle of the 5th paragraph. Does the actual paragraph start with native speakers of Nahu?
Well, it's actually a paragraph before that. We're in the middle of that paragraph.
So you're in the middle of the 4th paragraph.
That's what it was. Okay, that one. Yeah, that one.
Does it say Cortez had stumbled upon one?
I'm sorry, what?
The fourth paragraph, does it begin with Cortez had stumbled upon one of the keys?
Yes, ma'am. That's it. Correct.
Keys open doors.
Because the last person
I
we
found
had
the
talked
keys, the
about
keys,
was
the keys.
Geronimo de Aguilar.
That's where you're at?
Yep, that's where we is.
I think I
Okay.
mentioned I had an Aguilar in my family when you said
Yep.
Aguilar.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is appropriate because it talks about Nuwaup, the language of Nuwaup, and it goes into the next paragraph goes into La Malinche. So this is going to be cool. So for everybody that was listening to the show that Doodoo did last night, they have a better understanding of what we're talking about or what's being said, or should have a better understanding. So what I missed? What happened?
Mr. TJ, and I've seen that video. It said Mr. TJ says why TMH reminds me of that mama was beating the dog to get the kid to eat.
Beat the dog. I didn't beat
Beat
no
the dog to get the kid to eat. Where was this at?
It's a video. Little boy, the mama wanted her son to eat. So she took, I guess, his favorite doll, or I think it was a little girl, took the favorite doll and put it on the counter. So she went to feed the child, and the child refused. So then she picked up the doll, put it on the counter, and started punching the doll and beating on the doll.
I have
which
definitely
scared-
seen this video. I think
Yes,
I seen this video.
It scared the crap out of that child. And
Nah.
so then after she beat the doll, she turned around and fed him. Child ate with no problem.
Wow. Yeah, I'm all about that. I'm all about that.
All about that trauma.
Yeah,
me-
I'm not
me-
about punishment by proxy. I'm about that manual or that manual punishment.
Yeah.
Look,
I'm about
Yeah.
putting hands on you. I'm about putting
He
hands
got the
on
manual for hands-on approach. It's like, now I won't choke your neck because you got to swallow, but come over here real quick.
You could tell, you hear it in his tone. Hey, yeah, okay. Y'all listening? Okay.
Boy, you better put some water on that thing.
Well, you heard me talking to you. I ain't gotta
I'm
call
about to
your
throw
name.
away
You
no
know your
food.
name.
Can we read now?
Mm.
I mean,
Just
okay.
Stay frosty, my friends. The cold just came in. The winter is coming.
Mr. TJ Goofy. Look, I'm gonna go ahead and read until we get to the foundation of Veracruz, and then one of y'all, one of the twos of you, one of you
one
you
of the
two-
two youths.
one of the two youths.
The two
What
youths.
I'm about to say.
Two
One of
two
you.
what?
Two
Youths.
youths.
Two what?
Two youths. You know, youths.
Oh, I'm sorry. Youths.
Everybody got something to say till it's time to read. That's all I'm gonna say.
You right. But he said I'm gonna read and y'all gonna catch this cat when y'all catch it because I'm gonna leave y'all. I left the door open on the highway.
See, that's why we can't ever learn that mess around with y'all.
What do you mean?
Hey, I'm here for it all.
Always start.
Well, technically, we are learning because this is part of the culture. Aha.
Sheila.
I'm telling you, I am. I'm telling the truth. Aha.
Yes, messing with TMH is part of the culture. Everybody knows.
Absolutely. Oh, he didn't like that.
How's
He
it
didn't
gonna
like
be?
that.
How's it gonna be a mutiny?
All right, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
How they gonna be a mutiny on A2 Mutants? What's up with that?
Hey, it's all in the name, bruh. It's all in the name. So we got 2 more minutes to cut up, right? You said you're gonna
Mind
read it
your
now.
business. That's all. Just mind your business.
Ain't like colonizers right now. Stop it.
You're gonna learn. You're gonna
Come
learn
over and
to
take
live.
over.
Mutiny.
I'm not falling for that Quetzalcoatl. I'm gonna throw chop somebody. I'm gonna run, but I'm gonna throw chop somebody. I'm just saying. That's all. So with that being said, we are reading. I'm gonna start from the beginning of the other paragraph.
Wait, when are you gonna stop reading though?
Huh?
I think when you ease your way into reading, he's reading in place of you right now.
I said I was gonna stop at foundation.
No, he used the word I
Prophetic-
said. It's got serious. It's going down. It's going
Look,
down.
I'm just gonna say this: when I was young in Food Line, I grabbed the microphone that I saw everybody else grab to make an announcement, and my first words was "I said." And my mom grabbed the microphone. All you heard was a struggle with the mic. I swear, yeah.
So did everybody in the grocery store here get popped upside the head?
No, look, I think everybody jumped because they thought they heard their mama say "I said." But no, that was my claim to fame in the Food Line with the microphone. Yeah, I can't believe I still remember that. Yo. I was like 8 years old.
I'm surprised you ain't get the memory knocked out you. Anyway. The first concussion was given by a mama. Stop playing.
Look, I think she was more embarrassed that day just because I was so loud. You know, I being loud in the store. I enhanced that. I took it to another level. Being loud in the store.
Okay.
So,
You a broadcast.
I am your manager, B.
So can you manage to let me read so people can
Oh, my bad.
Oh, see, oh yeah.
I'll give you
told
that one. I'll give you
it
that
got real. You said I said.
That's it.
You know it's serious when your mom or dad start taking what you say and they throw it back with a serious tone. So can we manage to read?
Gabby.
Now you're being condescending.
Okay.
I'm gonna move on with the amicably. Teammates, you throwing all these words out here that I don't understand. Take them as a sign of disrespect.
Cortez has stumbled upon one of the keys to realizing
That's
his
when
ambitions.
you really know it's real. When they ignore you and start.
What was that, Gabby?
She said ignore you and start muting. Don't do it, Gabby. You doing the same thing you did the other day.
Anyway, Cortez
He gonna mute you when you talk.
Cortez has stumbled upon one of the keys to realizing his ambitions. He would speak to Geronimo de Aguilar in Spanish, who would then translate into Mayan for Marina. She would then translate from Mayan to Nahuatl. With this pair of translators, Cortez could now communicate to the Aztecs. So let's stop right quick, because what we are witnessing, this goes into what James was talking about yesterday when it talks about the translators. So it says he stumbled upon one of the keys to realizing his ambitions. He would speak to Geronimo de Aguilar in Spanish. So Geronimo de Aguilar would translate into Mayan. And then Marina, aka La Malinche, would then translate from Mayan to Nahuatl. So there needed to be two translators in order for this to happen. I need people to understand that. So you had one translator that was translating from Spanish to Mayan, and then you had another translator translating from Mayan to Nahuatl. So I'm going to go ahead and read it. It says, with this pair of translators, Cortez could now communicate to the Aztecs. How effectively is still a matter of speculation, since Marina did not speak the dialect of Aztecs, nor was she familiar with the protocols of Aztec nobility, who were renowned for their flowery, flattering talk. Doña Marina quickly learned Spanish and became Cortez's primary interpreter, confidant, consort, cultural translator, and the mother of his first son, Martin. Stop. Did y'all catch that lie?
Mm-hmm. But she wasn't familiar. So how could she? Never mind.
Lily, y'all can't come off mute anytime y'all feel like.
How can she teach him anything if she's not familiar with it?
Exactly.
And then the next catch is she quickly learned Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
That's letting you know the difference between Spanish and the native language isn't that different.
Nope. Especially she quickly learned it.
To the point she was a translator for both sides.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Gabrielle, you ain't got nothing you want to add?
I'm sorry. Can I come out my room now?
Don't do
I
that.
won't do it again.
Don't do that.
I mean it. I don't ever want to be muted like that again.
He said no.
Ain't nobody said they'll no. Stop it.
What's crazy, double
It's
cousin, is
no and don't.
listen. What's crazy, double cousin, is when he muted us, I literally had a flashback because he got that calm tone, like he did something and he didn't care, and started reading.
And sneak
That's
back up
like
on
when you know a butt whooping and giving out, and it's like, okay, I'm good now.
you. Hey, no, say no.
Queen Copper asked, are they Mayan or Aztec?
Or is who Mayan or Aztec?
She's asking in relations to the I guess she's Queen Copper's asking in relations to La Malinche's people. La Malinche,
Those were the Toltec, right?
right? Yeah, those were the Toltecs, but they understood and they knew the Aztec culture. The Toltecs are descendants from the Aztecs. So Aztecs would be the elder generation or the elder tribe, and the Toltecs would be the newer tribe. If that makes sense.
But wasn't it the Toltecs were also? It wasn't just that they were descendants. They were also they mixed with someone else or another group of people, right? Or no?
It's possible. I have to go back.
I'm trying to remember it
Yeah,
right.
I have to go back. But yeah, they are, but they do have lineage with the Aztec.
Right.
That's the reason why they speak a different language. Queen Copper says y'all got a passive aggressive beatdown. I don't know what she's talking about.
True that. You're talking
That
about
thing
you. You know
was
what you're talking about.
See, you think it was passive aggressive. See, them the type of parents that will beat you in public like they didn't beat you while you standing in the grocery line with them.
Yeah, they'll pass you aggressively.
Fix your face.
It's like, oh, I just caught an
What you
elbow.
crying for? Nah, that was all aggressive.
Look, see? Look.
That was all
Bones heard it.
aggressively.
You catch a nice little elbow, you get passive aggressive.
You ever been pinched on your side underneath your arm?
Don't say the P word, man. I just
and then it get twisted
moved over a little bit.
Excuse me.
Don't
Excuse me. Hello.
Start to whine.
Hello.
Yes,
Hi.
sir.
How
Oh,
y'all
we
doing?
live.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, TMA? My bad.
How y'all doing? Y'all
My
good?
bad, TMA.
Y'all good? We good? Y'all good?
He's to the panel. He's to the chat.
EJ Coppertone says the Toltec came before the Aztec. I'm not sure who came first. I'm of the assertion that the Aztec came first, but I've been around before. It won't be the first or the last time, so we can do some research.
Yeah. Last week, the Toltec. Okay, if I'm remembering correctly, the Aztec booted the Toltec out. The Toltec had come back several times, trying to take over, and go into the
Chichen Itza, secret place.
Chichen Itza, but yes, the secret place. So the Toltec, if I'm remembering correctly, the Toltec are who got actually exiled, pushed out, and brought to and dropped off on
some of the Caribbean islands.
Yes, the Caribbean islands. Actually, if I'm remembering correct, the Toltec later wind up being referred. Okay. The Toltec later wind up being referred to. Yeah, it's the Caribbean, some of the Caribbean islands, but specifically,
But
was it Jamaica?
Doodle Vision is out there. He can clear it up. That's why he's in the chat. He can clear it up.
Not the Aztecs, the Itza.
Yeah,
Toltec preceded, not the Aztec.
yeah. See, you put a tech on the end of something that just throw me all off. Um,
Okay, if we go back up, it tells us.
well, I'm trying to get back to
Okay,
what we talking about.
you got it.
Now, if you want to go back up after we get to the foundation of Veracruz, that is totally on you.
Back to life.
Back to reality.
Okay, moving on. It says, Doña Marina, who was La Malinche, quickly learned Spanish and became Cortez's primary interpreter, confidant, consort, cultural translator, and the mother of his first son. They make it sound like she did that after she got kicked out. No, she had to be part of it first and then got kicked out. But anyway, until Cortez's marriage to his second wife, a union which produced a legitimate son, whom he also named Martin, Cortez's natural son with Marina was the heir of his envisaged fortune.
Yeah.
How you pronounce it? Envisaged fortunes. So hold on, here's something that's interesting. It says until Cortez married to his second wife, a union which produced a legitimate son who he also named Martin. So he had two sons named Martin, one that was from an Indian woman and one from, I guess, from Spain.
So one was named Martin and the other one was named Martine.
It says Cortez's natural son with Marina was the heir of his envisaged fortunes. So here's a question:
What's
who is the legitimate son versus the illegitimate son? Because it says his natural son with Marina, which is.
I got a question. Did any of his sons ever die at a very early age?
Not sure. I guess we'll continue to read and find out. Native speakers of Nahuatl will call her Malitzin. This name is the closest approximation possible in Nahuatl to the sound of Spanish Marina. Over time, La Malinche, the modern Spanish cognate of Malitzin, became a term for a traitor to one's people.
They gave her a whole word.
Well, again, like James has told us, and like it's been said in the Mayan culture, depending on what side of the family you claim allegiance to, Grand Rising Golden Moon, aka KD, depending on which side of the family you subscribe to. If you're subscribing to that your culture is Spanish, then you're siding with La Malinche side, which basically means if it wasn't for her, you wouldn't exist. And if you're claiming Latin, meaning from the Mayan side, she would be a traitor because she sold your people out. That's why it is very.
You just made me think about that saying.
That's why it's an insult for you to call a person who associates with the Latin side of the Mayan culture. If you call them Spanish, they get upset because you just insulted. You basically saying they're the descendants of traitors. And for people to get a better understanding, that would be like, in the European culture, to be descendants of Benedict Arnold. So nobody want to be part of that. Not if they can help it. So La Malinche is the term of a traitor. And that term is only used from those of Latin or Latino descent or the Mayan culture. We'll just call them that. But if you're of a Spanish culture, she would not be called La Malinche. She would be called Marina. Because that's her name. And you're not going to disrespect or show hatred towards the woman who's responsible for your whole lineage, if that makes sense. And it says it would not be until the late 20th century that a few feminist writers and academics would attempt to rehabilitate La Malinche as a woman who made the best of her situation and became in many respects a powerful woman. See how that worked? Queen Copper says invaders and traitors.
Oh my.
So does anybody got anything they want to add before we move on? And we hear Gabrielle Gibbons read. See, is anybody in the chat that I hadn't spoken to yet? Oh, Grand Rising, Big Nelson. Forgive me for not just giving you a shout out.
Wait, can you give me like 4 minutes before 3 minutes?
I mean, I can continue reading.
Is that a threat?
No.
I'm on the other end of that tone. I'm not sure what that was.
I said I can continue reading. I'm like, if you need more time, I can continue reading. That's not a problem.
Okay, I won't do you no favors. Okay?
Really?
Tone low.
Don't do that.
Let's do it.
I was just, trying to be communicative. You.
Foundation of Veracruz.
Okay, I'm on mutiny.
Mutiny, never mind. Cortez landed his expedition force on the coast of modern-day state of Veracruz in April 1519. During this same period, soon after he arrived, Cortez was welcomed by representatives of the Aztec Emperor Moctezuma II. Gifts were exchanged, and Cortez attempted to frighten the Aztec delegation with a display of his firepower. Faced with imprisonment or death for defying the governor, Cortez's only alternative was to continue his enterprise in the hope of redeeming himself with the Spanish crown. Stop. So at this time in 1519, Cortez was under the gun because the governor considered him a traitor. So he had to come back with something. Oh, he was going to be done. So he had to come up with something quick, fast, in a hurry. So you talking about a man that was very desperate. Because he was faced with imprisonment and death. So he was basically playing, what do you call it? He was gambling with his life because he didn't know what the outcome was going to be. I'm going to go ahead and read it. It says, to do this, he directed his men to establish a settlement called La Villa Rica de la Veracruz, or True Cross. Since they arrived on Thursday, and landed on Good Friday. Hold on. Since they arrived on Maundy, Thursday, and landed on Good Friday, the legally constituted town council of Villarica then properly offered him the position of Adelantado, or Chief Justice and Captain General. Okay, let me see what this Maundy, Thursday. What is that? Maundy, Thursday, also known as Holy Thursday, Covenant Thursday, Great and Holy Thursday, Sheer Thursday, and Thursday of Mysteries, among other names, is a Christian holiday falling on the Thursday before Easter. It commemorates the washing of the feet, Maundy, and the Last Supper of Jesus Christ with the apostles as described in the canonical Gospels. It is the 5th day of Holy Week, preceded by Holy Wednesday, Spy Wednesday, and followed by Good Friday. Maundy comes from the Latin word mandatum or commandment, reflecting Jesus' words, I give you a new commandment. The day comes also between March 19th and April 22nd, exclusive, and will vary according to whether the Gregorian calendar or the Julian calendar is used. Eastern churches generally use the Julian calendar. Interesting. So I actually thought they ran Monday and Thursday together, but it's Monday, Thursday. Okay, Holy Thursday. And it says then promptly the legally constituted town council. How did they put together a town council so quick and then offer him the position of adelantado, or chief justice and captain general of a town when they had just landed on? Let me see this. In Mexico and Ayuntamiento, municipal council is composed of municipal president, mayor, one of two sindicos, attorney general, and several regidores who meet in cabildo council sessions. A regidor is a community representative commissioner before the municipal government. Okay, so they're using, all right. They're using a Mayan, sounds like they're using a Mayan example of a council. Queen Copper says Manifest Destiny, Annam Sanctum, Doctrine of Discovery, all about the church. Got it. Interesting. So he became Chief Justice and Captain General all in a matter of a week. It says this strategy was not unique. Velasquez had used this same legal mechanism to free himself from Diego Columbus' authority in Cuba and being named adelantado by a duly constituted cabildo. Cortez was able to free himself from Velasquez's authority and continue his expedition to ensure the legality of his action. That's what Velasquez was concerned about, him becoming his own governor. Got it. Okay, that makes sense. So he was now no longer under Velasquez's rule because he was his own, I guess for lack of a better term, high up, that made him equal to Velasquez. It says to ensure the legality of this action, several members of this expedition, including Francisco Montejo and Alonso Hernandez Puerto Carrero, returned to Spain to seek acceptance of the Cabildo's declaration with King Charles. Cortez learned of an indigenous settlement called Quimpuala and marched his forces there. On their arrival in Quimpuala, they were greeted by 20 dignitaries and cheering townsfolk. Cortez quickly persuaded the Totonac chiefs to rebel against the Aztecs, taking prisoners 5 of Moctezuma's tax collectors. The Totonacs also helped Cortez build the town of Villarrica de la Veracruz, which was the starting point for his attempt to conquer the Aztec Empire. So I'm going to stop there right quick.
Mateo.
So he becomes this high-ranking official and having cabildos, and they sent that declaration up to the King Charles in Spain. But here's something that they talk about that is interesting because, again, this is, again, granted, I know we're looking at Wikipedia, and we're also taking into account a United States rendition of what happened with Spanish people in reference to Mayans. So this is like third-party hand information. But if we look at things in their total context from where they stand, and then we can further verify this, it reads that Cortez quickly persuaded the Totonac chiefs to rebel against the Aztecs, taking prisoners 5 of Moctezuma's tax collectors. Now remember, Doodle Vision talked about the tribes paying respect, or paying homage, or paying some form of basically some form of tax. So
tax collector.
So here's a question. How can you be an Indian not taxed if you're paying tax to your tribes? Whether you're paying tax to your tribes or whether you're paying tax to the government, that means you're paying tax. So there is no such thing as Indian not taxed. Because whoever you pay tax to is whoever you pay tax to. You're still paying tax. If you're paying tax in South America, let's just say you're paying tax in Brazil as a tribe, and then you get taken over by some of the Germans, and you end up paying tax, the same tax to that monarchy. If you were paying tax before you became colonized by them, would you be considered an Indian not taxed? No. You would still be considered an Indian tax because you were paying taxes before you got colonized. So how are you gonna be considered an Indian not taxed when you was paying taxes before colonization? Or does that not make sense? Am I missing something? Okay, just checking. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be way off base too. But just wondering. So then Cortez got the Totonac chiefs to rebel against the Aztecs, taking prisoners 5 of the Moctezuma's tax collectors. The Totonacs also helped Cortez build the town of Villa de la Veracruz, which was the starting point of his attempt to conquer the Aztec Empire. So Cortez's men didn't build anything. The Totonac did. And we're starting to find that Queen Coppers is paying tax. Exactly, that's my whole point. So let's look at who the Totonac are. It says the Totonac are indigenous people of Mexico who reside in the states of Veracruz, Puebla, and Hidalgo. They are one of the possible builders of the pre-Columbian city of El Tajín, and further maintain quarters in Teotihuacan, a city which they claim to have built. Until the mid-19th century, they were the world's main producers of villa. So, you see Teotihuacan. Teo is in that word right there. What was James talking about with Teo? Mateo? I'm just saying. Then we go on to etymology. It says the term Totonac refers to the people living in Totonacapan. There is no agreement as to the origin of the term. Way people word stuff. There is no agreement. That means they can't agree on a lie as to where the term comes from. Some authors have translated the term Totonac as a Nahuatl word, meaning people of the hot land. The translation of this word in Totonac language, according to sources, is Totonacu, meaning 3 hearts, signifying their 3 cities or cultural centers: Kampala, Tajín, and Tiayo. Evidence, however, is inconclusive. Of course, it's inconclusive. So that's who the Totonac are. They were the ones that helped Cortez, according to this, conquer the Aztecs. So now I'm going to go into the next paragraph. It says, hearing of the rebellion, more ambassadors from the Aztec emperor returned to see Cortez bearing gifts of gold and cloth. It says, in thankfulness for Cortez freeing his tax collectors, Moctezuma also told Cortez he was certain the Spanish were of his own race and had arrived as his ancestors and foretold, as foretold. So stop. Stop, 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 stop. How is it that you're gonna get the you're gonna in one paragraph you say that you persuade the Totonac chiefs to rebel against Aztecs, and then in the next story you're gonna say that they thought that you were their ancestors. Why would somebody believing that these people were their ancestors think that their ancestors is gonna allow somebody to attack them? Oh, okay, I see what he did. He had those Totonac um kidnap those tax collectors, and then he freed them. Okay, so that was part of his act. Never mind. Yes, it's hearing of the rebellion, more ambassadors from Aztec Emperor returned to see Cortez bearing gifts of gold and cloth. In thankfulness for Cortez freeing his tax collectors, Moctezuma also told Cortez he was certain the Spanish were of his own race and had arrived as his ancestors had foretold. As Cortez told his men, the natives think us as gods or godlike beings. But what they're not saying is that La Malinche was the one that told them about the culture, the language, and prepped them for this act that he was going to carry out. It says, although they attempted to dissuade Cortez from visiting Tenochtitlan, the lavish gifts, the polite welcome remarks only encouraged El Caudillo to continue his march towards the capital of the empire. So who is, I guess El Caudillo is who they was referring to as Cortez. Oh, okay. Caudillo, Spanish Cabadillo, from Latin capitellum, diminutive of caput, head, is a type of personalist leader wielding military and political power. There is no precise definition of caudillo, which is often used interchangeable with dictator and strongman. This term is historically associated with Spain and with Spanish America after virtually all the region won independence in the early 19th century. Okay, so they're basically giving them the Latin diminutive of Cabadillo. Got it. Alright, so Gabrielle. No sellout? Anybody? Oh, so don't nobody hear me now? Everybody went on mute?
The only thing I was going to quote is a song that I no longer quote because it's by R. Smelly, written by Michael Jackson. So I'm on mute, but I'm here.
Really?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a Michael Jackson song written by R. Smelly.
Miss Gabrielle, are you able to read?
Oh, is that what you was asking? Somebody was able to read? I would have never came off it.
Wow. All right. There it is.
I can read, but I can't because I'm about to drive. I'm sorry. If you had asked maybe 30 minutes ago, I probably would have been like, yeah, I got you. It's Friday. I can do it.
Okay.
But I'm on mute now.
Got it. Good looking. I appreciate you.
Where is Gabrielle, though?
I guess she has some stuff she'll take care of. She asked. She wanted me to give her 3 minutes.
Oh, okay. My bad, Gabrielle.
So I'm gonna continue to read Sculling the Fleet and Aftermath. So this is after Cortez has convinced the Aztecs that he is Kukulkan. But as the Europeans, or as the writers of this story, as translated from the Spanish rendition, are saying, they're making it look like Cortez convinced the Tatanak to let the 5 imprisoned tax collectors, we'll say that 3 times fast, tax collectors go, so they felt, based off of the way it's written, that he was just like them and he was family. But what they're not telling you is that he was dressed like Kukulkan. He had the mannerisms of Kukulkan, and he was portraying himself as Kukulkan. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and read Scuttling the Fleet and Aftermath. It says men still loyal to the governor of Cuba plan to seize a ship and escape to Cuba, but Cortez moved swiftly to squash their plans. 2 leaders were condemned to be hanged, 2 were lashed, and 1 his foot mutilated. To make sure such a mutiny did not happen again, he decided to scuttle his ships. Scuttle, what does that mean?
I was just about to ask you that. What is scuttle again?
Wow, okay. Scuttling is a deliberate sinking of a ship by allowing water to flow into the hull. This can be achieved in several ways. Seacocks or hatches can be opened to the sea, or holes may be ripped into the hull with brute force or with explosives. Scuttling may be performed to dispose of an abandoned old or captured vessel to prevent the vessel from becoming a navigation hazard, as an act of self-destruction to prevent the ship from being captured by an enemy force, or in the case of a vessel engaged in illegal activities by the authorities, as a block ship to restrict navigation through a channel, or within a harbor to provide an artificial reef for divers and marine life, or to alter the flow of water. Wow. So those are reasons why you would scuttle a ship. Okay. So, it's deliberate sinking of a ship. Got it. It says there is a popular misconception that the ships were burned rather than sunk. This misconception has been attributed to the reference made by Cervantes de Salazar in 1546 as to Cortez burning his ships. This may have also come from the mistranslation of the version of the story written in Latin. With all his ships scuttled, Cortez effectively stranded the expedition in central Mexico. However, it did not completely end the aspiration of those members of his company who remained loyal to the governor of Cuba. Cortez then led his band inland towards Tenochtitlan. In addition to the Spaniards, Cortez's force now included 40 Quimpoalan warrior chiefs and at least 200 other natives whose task was to drag the cannon and carry supplies. The Quimpoalans were accustomed to the hot climate of the coast, but they suffered immensely from the cold of the mountains, the rain, and the hail as they marched towards Tenochtitlan. Alright. Anybody got anything they want to add to what I just read? Go back up a little bit. So now Cortez has his army in tow, and he's going to Tenochtitlan. Alright, I'll continue reading. And it goes on to read alliance with Tlaxcala. Cortez soon arrived at Tlaxcala a confederacy of about 200 towns and different tribes, but without central government. The Otomi initially, and then the Tlaxcalans found the Spanish in a series of three battles. Fought the Spanish in a series of three battles from 2 to 5 September 1519. And at one point, Diaz remarked, "They surrounded us on every side." After Cortez continued to release prisoners with messages of peace and realizing the Spanish were enemies of Montezuma, Xicotencatl, hold on, Xicotencatl, the elder, and Mixacatzin, Mixikatzin persuaded the Tlaxcalan war leader Xicotencatl the Younger that it would be better to ally with the newcomers than to kill them. It says the Tlaxcalans' main city was Tlaxcala, excuse me. After almost a century of fighting the Flower Wars, a great deal of hatred and bitterness had developed between the Tlaxcalans and the Aztecs. The Aztecs had already conquered most of the territory around Tlaxcala and waged war on them every year. What is this Flower Wars? Close this out. It says a flower war or flowery war was a ritual war fought intermittently between the Aztec Triple Alliance and its enemies from the mid 1450s to the arrival of the Spanish in 1519. Stop. Hold on. So there was a war already raging, starting in the 1450s. So the Aztec Triple Alliance and its enemies from the mid 1450s to the arrival of the Spaniards in 1519. That war was 69 years old. By the time.
So is that? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So is that why they keep saying that the Spaniards aligned with their enemies? So it was more than just going to the islands and getting getting the Toltec. It was also the rival people that they were already fighting, right?
Right.
Or no?
No, you're correct. The Tlaxcala. So they had been warring 69 years before the Spaniards got there. Okay. But here's the thing, that what we're not paying attention to, what some people may not be paying attention to, is apparently the Aztecs was whipping their behinds because they had already conquered most of the territory around Tlaxcala. So if that was the case, the Spaniards, again, remember, he came under the guise of Kukulkan. So there wouldn't have been any warring because they would have been sided with him. They thought he was the second coming of Kukulkan. So why would he have to fight them? See, that's why this story doesn't make any sense to me. And I know I'm probably missing a lot, but at the end of the day, if they are on his side and they think he's the second coming of Kukulkan, then what would be the reason for him to have to fight them when they're already on his side?
I got a question.
Hopefully I have an answer.
So when we read earlier, and I don't mean like earlier today, I think it was maybe Thursday, maybe Friday, that was it if the whole plot between Cortez and was it Hernandez and who was trying to kill Cortez and have him
Velasquez, the governor of Cuba.
right. So Velasquez saying that if Cortez becomes ruler, and this is just my way of thinking, correct me if I'm wrong, being that there was already a war going on and the Aztecs were winning and expanding and taking control, whoever conquers the conqueror is like great, right?
That I don't know.
Wait, what don't you know?
Because you just lost me with what you were saying.
Okay, so technically, if in this scenario, it would be the Aztecs are conquering and they're considered conquerors, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Velasquez having an issue with Cortez getting any type of recognition would mean that Velasquez is peeping that, there's a battle, there's a war going on. If Velasquez is worried about her Cortez getting recognition and, becoming ruler and king or whatnot, then that means that the intent of Cortez was to conquer the conqueror. No?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't come across anything to support that. I'm not saying it's not, but yeah, I'd have to be thinking what he's thinking, and I don't know what he was thinking. I just know that he
No. I don't mean what he's thinking. I mean, like, okay, I get what you're saying. Never mind. I get it. Okay.
Yeah, because welcome back.
Well, I was listening the whole time. I had to deal with the pots and pans monsters mess.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, welcome back.
Yeah.
So I'm on the alliance with. Oh yeah, well you was reading what I was reading, so you saw it. Where we at now? I'm on the next paragraph where it talks about the Toxicalans. Yeah, the Toxicalans main city was. Oh, I've already read that. So I'll read it again. So the Tlaxcalan's main city was Tlaxcala. After almost a century of fighting the Flower Wars, a great deal of hatred and bitterness had developed between the Tlaxcalans and the Aztecs. The Aztecs had already conquered most of the territory around Tlaxcala and waged war on them every year. It has been suggested that the Aztecs left Tlaxcala independent so that they would have a constant supply of war captives to sacrifice to their gods. We know they didn't do sacrifices. Duda Vision put in the chat, it says Velasquez was concerned because Cortez was gaining allies because of the great harlot. Okay. Does that answer your question, Gabby?
I'm sorry, repeat that again.
Duda Vision says Velasquez was concerned because Cortez was gaining allies due to the assistance of the great harlot, Malinche.
Okay, so yes, yes, it does. Because the allies, again, I wasn't there, and again, I get that I can't ask you to tell me what somebody's thinking. However, I mean, if they ally with the people who are already fighting them, already in war with them, they're increasing their numbers, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
We know that the Aztecs did not sacrifice no people to no gods. They had reverence for their ancestors, but they did not sacrifice people. They were performing surgeries. Are you able to read now, Gabrielle?
Can you give me one more minute?
Pots and pans.
Yeah,
He's like,
Yeah,
yeah, I can read it.
I
Hold on.
literally am listening. I had a bunch of questions when you asked it, but had to take the gloves off.
Oh, it's a real fight. She said, hold on, the earrings, the gloves. Give me some Vaseline. Let's go. I'm stalling. I'm stalling for you, Gabrielle. Sorry. She said, give me 3.5 minutes. Maybe even 4.
4 paragraphs later. So I got a question. Wait, what?
wait. This is not how it's supposed to go. See the OG Kanye. I'll be there in 5 minutes. 5 hours later, I'll be there in 5 minutes.
So go ahead, take care of what you got to take care of. I'll
I'm at the light.
You at the light.
What she doing? She doing to me.
I'm done.
I can read, but I'm driving. You know, I mean, it's kind of against the law where I'm at.
Doodle Vision says, leave one of those 10 million windows open, Gabrielle Union. I'm going to jump through one in about 10 minutes.
Oh, they all up. They all up. Windows wide open.
Oh, gosh. That was a good one. Grand Rising Pamela Hall, a.k.a. my favorite former name, Pamela Hall. What it do? Glad you caught that cab. I saw you come in earlier. I was a little busy doing multitasking. You know, they treat me like a Paleo Hebrew slave.
You the worst type of person. Peace, Pamela Hall. Hope you're doing well.
Who the worst type of person? Me?
No, not you.
Speaking the truth, I got me working over here. Remember that song about Michael Jackson? Got me working day and night off the
What is it?
the Off the Wall album.
I just know the day and night part. Day and night.
Oh boy!
Look. That's one of the Gabby. What'd you say with the induction? What is it called? The broken programming. It didn't work for me for that song.
That's broken programming.
Anyway, all right, back to our regular schedule program. Pamela Hall says peace, no sellout. Well, she said no sellout. So.
Yep. Peace. I ain't gonna say Pamela Hall 3 times fast.
What do you mean?
On 23 September 1519.
The 23rd?
On 23 September 1519.
I'm trying to catch where you're at. I wasn't trying to be funny.
No, I'm reading it exactly like it says it. It's right below the picture that read. Well, it's not right below, but it's up 2 paragraphs below. Meaning of Cortez.
Cortez is after the comma.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, so you made it.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had traffic lights in your house. That must be cool. I'm sorry. I'm at the light. I'm making a left out the bathroom. Coming down the hall. Her house is a village, y'all. Stop playing.
I'm at the light. What light? The one, right there.
Next to the master bedroom. Okay, I'm good. You ready to read?
Yeah.
Okay.
I is. Okay. On the 23rd September 1519, Cortez arrived in Tlaxcala and was greeted with joy by the rulers. Excuse me. Who saw the Spanish as an ally against the Aztecs. Hold on. Cortez arrived in Tlaxcala and was greeted with joy by the rulers, who saw the Spanish as an ally against the Aztecs. Okay. Due to commercial blockade by the Aztecs, Tlaxcala was poor, lacking among other things. Wait, what happened in a paragraph? Am I mute?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Oh,
They went back to 1519.
okay. Okay. All right. Tlaxcala was poor, lacking among other things, salt and cotton cloths. So they could only offer Cortez and his men food and slaves. Oh, okay. Cortez stayed 20 days in Tlaxcala, giving his men time to recover from their wounds from the battles. Cortez seems to have...
Stop right there. I'm away from my computer. Giving them time to recover from wounds for that battle. So that means these Tlaxcalans, they must have known how to help them recover fast from their wounds, because 20 days ain't a long time to recover from some wounds of battle. I mean, you would agree with that, wouldn't you? So they must have known some of those remedies that you James Bones and what you call them did to build on Christmas Day. Talk about those remedies, remember? Remember?
Yeah.
And when we talked about yesterday about the honey and how using honey, it can be used as a cast.
Yeah.
I just wanted to point that out because they like to gloss over stuff because they showed up didn't know how to take care and do that stuff. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're telling me go ahead?
See, please.
Oh, okay. Cortez seems to have won the true friendship and loyalty of the senior leaders of Tlaxcala. Among them, Mashishikatsin and Xicotincala, the elder, although he could not win the heart of Xicotincatl, the younger. The Spaniards agreed to respect parts of the city, like the temples, and reportedly took only the things that were offered to them freely. Okay, Mashishikatsin was the Toltani ruler of the Nau Tipel of the Atalaco at the time of the Spanish conquest of Mexico. And Xicotenco, the elder, was a long-lived Toltani king of Tizatlan, a Nau al-Tepetal within the pre-Columbian Confederacy of Tlaxcala in what is now Mexico.
I'm trying to find out where you're at because I walked away from the computer, so give me a second.
Oh, I'm on the same page. I'm just going over, I got my cursor over the highlighted names. And then Xicotincal was a prince and war leader, probably with the title of, can't. I'm not going to say can't. Very difficult for me to put all those letters together right now. Of the pre-Columbian state of Tlaxcalan at the time of the Spanish conquest of Mexico. So that's okay. So that's how they were able to use. It wasn't just her. Those were or the people, leaders of the people that they used to rebuild over the city of Mexico or Mexico City, on top of the original establishments, buildings that were already there. Right?
I'm still trying to figure out where you were.
You know that paragraph where it says on the 23rd of September, 1519?
Mm-hmm.
That same paragraph.
Oh, okay. I thought you got further.
Well, I've ended the paragraph. I've already hit the last period.
Right. The words will the words like speed bumps, ain't they?
Well,
never mind.
Yeah, but okay, yeah. Okay, keep reading.
Oh, okay. Now I know what you was reading and why I couldn't see it, because you was hovering over the names.
Right.
Okay. Got you. I'm like, why don't I see what she's reading? Okay. Thank you. Yeah, you can go ahead and continue to read, please. Much appreciated.
But wait, is it incorrect in thinking like that? Taking that understanding or knowing, so to speak?
No, because you're right. Not only did he use Cortez used the Toltecs, but he also used the Tlaxcalans to build over the city when they started to conquer Aztecs. Unless I'm misunderstanding, so that would make both of us. So yeah, I'm in agreement with what you're saying. If that makes sense.
Okay. Yep. I'm reading. Glad we figured that out. As before with other native groups, Cortez preached to the Tlaxcalan leaders about the benefits of Christianity. The Caciques gave Cortez the most beautiful of their daughters and nieces. Xicotencatl, the elder's daughter, was baptized as Donna Luisa, and Mexicatzin's daughter as Donna Elvira. They were given by Cortez to Pedro de Alvarado. Okay, he was a Spanish conquistador and governor of Guatemala. He participated in the conquest of Cuba and Juan de Grijalva's exploration of the coast of Yucatan Peninsula and the Gulf of Mexico, and the conquest of Mexico led by Hernan Cortez. Interesting. And Juan Velázquez de León. He was a Spanish conquistador who, along with Hernan Cortez, participated in the third Spanish expedition to continental America in 1519. He was distinguished by being relative of then Governor Cuba Diego Velázquez. I wonder if he is the conquistador that raided the tombs, respectively. Okay. Legends say that he convinced the four leaders of Tlaxcala to become baptized. Mexicatsin, Xicotencatl, the elder, Xitalpapacatsin, and Timelotitcal. Do apologize. I botched that up. I'll get better. The names of Don Lorenzo, Don Vicente, Don Bartolome, and Don Gonzalo. It is impossible to know if these leaders understood the Catholic faith. In any case, they apparently had no problem in adding the Christian Dios, God in Spanish, Dios, the Lord of the heavens, to their already complex pantheon of gods. An exchange of gifts was made, and thus began the highly significant and effective alliance between Cortez and Tlaxcala. The pantheon gods, Aztec mythology, is the body or collection of myth of Aztec civilization of central Mexico. The Aztecs were Nahuatl speaking groups living in central Mexico, and much of their mythology is similar to that of other Mesoamerican cultures. According to legend, the various groups who were to become various groups who were to become the Aztecs arrived from the north into the Anahuac Valley around Lake Texcoco. The location of this valley and lake of destination is clear. It is the heart of modern Mexico City, but little can be known with certainty about the origin of the Aztec. There are different accounts of their origin. In the myth, the ancestors of the Mexica and Aztec came from the place in the north called Aztlan. Whoa. The last seven, Nahatlakas, Nahuti speaking tribes from Tlaxcala means man. To make the journey southward, hence their name Azteca. Other accounts cite their origin in Chicomatztac, the place of the seven caves, or at Tomachan, the legendary origin of civilization. Okay, so Aztlan, which made me think about Narnia, but also made me think about can
Atlantis.
You scroll not just Atlantis, look how the picture that they depict of it.
Hold on, I stepped away from the computer.
Okay, I'll just read it. Aztlan is the ancestral home of the Aztec peoples. Azteca is the Nahuatl word for people from Aztlan. So, Aztlan is mentioned in several ethno-historical sources dating from the colonial period, and each of them give different lists of the different tribe groups who participated in the migration from Aztlan to central Mexico. But the Mexica who went on to found Mexico Tenochtitlan are mentioned in all the accounts. Historians have speculated about the possible location of Aztlan and tend to place it either in northwestern Mexico or the southwest U.S. And now,
so what link are you reading now? Oh Lord, you started clicking and got click happy and clicked away from the
okay, what does your screen say? Hold on, let me see. What does your screen say?
I'm on the main screen.
Okay, so from the main screen. Okay, so click on Pantheon Gods. You did that yet?
Yep.
Okay, now when you then click on
click happy, didn't it? See, that's probably why it's better that when you read, we share your screen, because, man, you done got so far off the main road, your dirt road ain't even got a path. It's just all grass. Where you at? Don't even know, do you? You got about 40 windows open, don't you?
Okay. Now click on Chico Matstak. It is the second to the last highlighted word in the last sentence of the first paragraph.
Yeah, I got it. Okay. Is this where you was reading from?
Nope, I lie. Go back and click on Atslan, which is right above it.
Okay. So what was your statement about Atslan? You forgot.
My statement.
Yeah, you had made a statement. And I told you I wasn't at the computer.
Okay, the last sentence that I read, historians have speculated about the possible location of Atslan and tend to place it either in northwest Mexico or the southwest U.S., although there are doubts about whether the place is purely mythical or represents a historical reality. Here's the thing, whether they consider it to be mythical or real, okay, it's still putting it in a place, Mexico, U.S., or southwest. So south is down, west. So that would be south. So that would still be close to Mexico, right? But what's considered to be within U.S. borders?
Yeah, basically southwest of Mexico.
Right.
Grand Rising Ohio player, Grand Rising Big Hawk.
Southwest U.S. means that it's within the borders of what is considered
U.S. Okay, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Part. So that means by somewhere, depends on what they define what their definition of Southwest U.S. is. So you could talk about basically California.
Oh, it's 7 tribes that made up all. Wait a minute. There go that 7 again. And if it's mythical, how do they have the...
Aha. You get it? It says, although there are doubts about whether the place is purely mythical or represents a historical reality. So they don't say, but they don't not say. Okay, you're scrolling. Pamela Hall says, where Eddie Murphy come from? I watched some of the excerpts of him hosting Saturday Night Live. Take 2. I watched some of the excerpts of him hosting Saturday Night Live. So yeah. Queen Copper says California, Texas, Utah, New Mexico, says Ohio player. When you talk about Southwest. What are you doing, Gabrielle?
Writing.
Queen Copper says Arizona. So.
Okay, so you see where it says under legend?
No, where are you at?
In my house.
Where am I supposed to see legend?
On the same page. It's the word legend. It's in bold letters, bold black letters. It says legend.
Bold black letters?
Yes.
I'm at the other end of that tone, young lady.
Oh, I apologize. Okay, so the top of your page says Atslan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you go down, you see where it says there's a little blue box with a black line and it says contents.
Hold on.
It's on the same screen under the first paragraph.
Oh, okay. Well, mine's isn't black. Mine's is blue where it says legend.
Okay, the second word that says legend, that's in bold black letters.
In contents?
No,
you
below it.
You talking about the paragraph?
The paragraph under legend?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Go ahead. What you got?
Okay, so I don't really want to skip, but I kind of do. So the names.
Help!
I ain't gonna do it, but I'm about to.
Don't be screaming help like that.
Queen Copper says the Aztec thing is embraced heavily here in California and the Chicano
It
culture.
is. It is. It absolutely is. So those are the names of the 7 tribes. So you see how is 2 of the names on your end highlighted in red?
Hold on. Yes.
Okay. So when they're highlighted in red, I've learned that there's not a link or there's not something they don't have any reference information put in there to it. So I was writing down specifically those 2 names because for whatever reason they don't have any direct links to that. So I was writing the names down so that I could look them up.
Okay. So what we supposed to do while you looking them up? I'm supposed to read? Oh, I know what I could do. Grand Rising Doodle Vision. Help.
Grand Rising Doodle Vision. Don't be screaming for help.
Peace, James.
Peace. Grand Rising, one and all. Grand Rising to those in the chat. Just remember, out of 1, I became 2. Out of 2, I became 4. Out of 4, I became 7. Count the suns. Everyone that was mentioning from California all the way to Texas, you are correct. For Palo Duro, Texas, which is in the Panhandle, all that whole area going into California, when you get in between there, you have the Grand Canyon. That was the original land. I know there are a group of people trying to go back to Utah, because when you say Aztec in the language of Azteca, it's actually Uto Azteca. But that's another lesson for another time. Those are the old ruins before the flood. All of that was flooded out. I yield the mic.
And what pray tell flood are you referring to there, Sir James?
There was a great flood all over the world. Do not let people fool you into thinking that it was something local. It took place the same time, because you can check the water lines, the marks, the rings at the base of the Sphinx in Egypt. And you can also check the rings in the Grand Canyon and the rings at Palo Duro, Texas, Palo Duro Canyon. Look at those rings. Those were establishments. You can see the buildings that were washed away, faded away by water, that were built in stone. Titlan, remember? The Greeks said that it was destroyed underwater. Find out what sun that was. Out of 1, I became 2. Out of 2, I became 4. Out of 4, I became 7. They're telling you what happened with the sons. And you can exchange Mashika with Micmac. I yield the mic.
And there you have it. Oh, Pamela Hall says, is that the flood of the Bible?
That is the flood of the Bible. But people say it didn't happen because, again, the timelines, man. Thank you, brother. No sell out. Timelines. They're looking for it in the wrong place because believe the Epic of Gilgamesh talks about this great flood. Tell you, they're also mentioning the fact of the great flood of dealing with the Maya and the Aztecas. That's why they built or rebuilt Tenochtitlan. And if you talk to the Red Stick Warriors, the true Red Stick Warriors that Baton Rouge, Louisiana is named after, they will tell you their trek, their journey after the flood, when the waters receded, that they came back to dry land and started settling in the southeast part of the United States. And that's where you get the Red Stick Wars. These were these warriors with the red sticks. Go back and look at Bonaparte. That's why they are walking around with red sticks. They're telling their story. I yield the mic.
Shout out to BR, where my folks from.
Oh. Milko means it's a cross between Naruto and Chito and Millie. It's the cross between those 3 languages that make up the language of that one tribe, and it means where the flowers grow. They're famous. They're known for their floating gardens.
Okay.
Okay, so that's one of the tribes that I wrote down. Xochimilca. That's what I was. Okay, I apologize. Okay, and I need to be quiet?
No. You gonna read it?
I just don't know what's happening right now. It's just that moment. What's going on?
While you was looking up words, I asked you the vision a question. He answered
I heard
the question. Right, so you were reading, so do I need to read, or what we doing?
Okay, am I reading what I have or reading what you see?
You can read what you have. And you can also drop the link if you have it. That would help. If you're able to.
Yeah.
Ohio player dropping hot links as always, per usual. Ohio player, hopefully you putting those in the forum too. Thank you, Candy.
Wait, was that a jab at me?
No.
Oh.
Come on, man. I don't take indirect jabs.
You know what? You're right. I apologize. I misspoke. I won't do it again. I know who I'm talking to. I ain't got my peoples with me, though.
You know what? Thank you for putting the link in the chat.
Challenge him.
So it's Yoshi Milko. That's the way it looks to me. Yoshi Milko.
Okay. What does the X actually represent?
What you mean? It makes a j sound like when you see X out, it
Okay.
means she,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken.
Gotcha.
I'm sure James is still on. He'll correct me if I'm wrong.
You are not mistaken. I believe he just said that less than 24 hours ago. In these back channels.
I got a question. I'm about to put a link in the chat because Chaldean deals with who?
You talking about the language?
Okay.
No, I'm.
Okay, what is Chaldean?
I think it's a people.
Where?
I don't know. In tone, please.
Oh no. Okay. Okay.
You
my
go
bad.
way across the pond. Chaldean deals with the area that's known as Sumer or Sumerian. It comes
Okay.
out of there. Your Aramaic, Chaldean, all that language there.
Here's the thing. Chaco, which is the other tribe of the 7 main tribes, they're the origin of the Chaldean numerology and Pythagorean numerology.
Okay, you said Chaldean comes from one of the 7 original tribes, basically.
Chalca, Chalca, the other tribe that was highlighted in red.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, I'm putting this link with the definitions. Give me a second. That's why I asked what is Chaldean is in reference to who? Did it show?
Yeah, hold on. Wait a minute. Yep.
And honestly, it's giving me more scarce information on the Chalca. Okay, I'm gonna just put what I am able to pull because it's very, very little I'm able to pull. So it's not like I'm insane. I'll take crazy, not insane. And I do apologize. It's not my fault.
Did I do that? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's not my fault. I'm trying not to.
It says from the walk. Chicado. Chalco. Chalkin. It says obsolete the people of Chalco. Chalkins. Yeah, they're being very. So James, can you got any information that you care to share with us about this? About these Chalco people? Put Gabrielle's mind at ease.
Gabrielle Union, you're gonna go blind. Open up all the windows. Are you?
Whoa.
Are you? Wait a minute. Well, you don't click on another window. Don't click on another window.
Wait.
No.
This is. Hold on. Listen,
You
listen.
have
Wait.
reached the end of the internet.
No. Oh my goodness. Okay.
No.
I'm not gonna click. Okay. No, I'm not gonna. Okay. I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna click no more. But
Are you on my Patreon account? Have you dropped any? Have you dropped any Bitcoin into my NoPal account?
no.
Just go watch my videos. Okay, no hate. Just watch my videos. This is
Now
why
you're
I
being
say again. In Sumeria, look at the walls of the bearded men. Some of those bearded men are wearing wings. Some of those bearded men have fish scales on them. There's a fish head at the top as a crown, and they're wearing a fish body. All this is going to start making sense. Some of them are holding corn, and some of them are holding pine cone. I know this is a reteachable moment for those that are in the chat. You probably heard me say this.
Even a record burns a needle.
These were the same people that continued the experiments with the soil that was going on in the Americas. Look up. All you have to do, not now. Don't do it now. You click on that. Don't you click on that window. You jot it down, and you start studying how they continue to experimenting with the crops because they wanted to recreate what was done over here in the Americas with corn. I only discuss what I can prove. So we automatically know by the dates that are being talked about dealing with corn or maize that goes back at least 11,000 years. But when you talk about Sumer and you realize the corn that's on there, you're going to understand that corn, maize, goes back even further than that. Are you still with me? I hope so. I yield.
So the last link that I put in there, it's actually called the plant list. And I clicked on the link, came to the website. It says the plant list, a working list of all plant species. Calcas, the genus, that's not genus. What's Guinness? The Guinness Calcas is in the family Rutaceae in the major group called flowering plants. That falls under agriculture, right?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your original statement. I had a call coming in and I had to skip it.
Oh, I apologize.
No, that was on me. If you could repeat your question.
Oh, okay. So I clicked on, one of a couple of links. It's Chalcas. It's a link. I put it in the chat. It's the plant list. So I clicked on it and it says the plant list, a working list of all plant species. Chalcas, the genus Chalcas is in the family of Rutaceae in the major group of something sperms and angiosperms, which means flowering plants. Statistics are at the end of the page. Species in Chalcas. See status, confidence level, sources, and it's going through different plants. It's just basically that all falls under agriculture, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Keep reading.
Oh.
We can't see what you're reading, so you have to read it.
Don't
Okay.
click on another. Don't you do it. We got to come back to the Americas.
Okay. I'm putting it in the I'm putting hold on. I'm putting it in the
Don't you put that link in the chat. Don't you do it.
Or if I don't do it, TMH is gonna fuss at me, and then he'll tell on me.
Just keep just keep a note. You got to come back to the Americas. You know what I'm gonna do? You see those little kids in the mall and the parents got those leashes on them. I'm gonna get that for you for the internet, and I'm gonna yank on that leash and I'm gonna reel you in. Come back to the Americas.
I'm still in the Americas.
It's 1034.
It's an actual surname.
I know.
Oh, okay. I'm coming back.
Taking us back a few thousand years from the great harlot. You're going to get a piece of people information overload.
Okay, my bad. Okay, I'm back.
No, just save all those links. I'm telling you, it's gonna come into play. So when I transition, and y'all say, you know what, Doodoo Vision wasn't as crazy as we thought he was. Go ahead. I know where you're going, and I know what you're doing. Like I said, these names are important. That's why I always say, go back and find out these names, because when you mention the names to the elders and the wise ones, that's when they'll start talking to you.
Don't get quiet now, Gabrielle. Say something.
So, okay, I don't know what you want me to say, because I'm staying. I got to stay in the Americas, but at the same time, okay. What's my motivation?
Stay in the Americas.
Okay, am I going back to the original page, or am I still on Atslan finishing that, or no?
Just go back to the original page.
Okay, I'm going back to the original page. Yes, TMH. What was the name of the original page? Spanish Conquest of the Aztec Empire, right?
See.
And we are... Okay, sorry about that.
You didn't run into anything, did you?
Man, look, it was a fly, and I wasn't ready. Okay, are we at Massacre of Cholula?
I thought we was at Cortez marches to Cholula.
Okay, that's where we're at. I'm sorry, I got distracted real quick. All right. Meanwhile, Moctezuma's ambassadors, who had been in the Spanish camp after the battles with the Tlaxcalans, continued to press Cortez to take the road to Mexico via Cholula. Cholula was an important city of pre-Columbian Mesoamerica, dating back to at least the 2nd century BCE, with settlements as a village going back at least some 1,000 years earlier. The site of Cholula is just west of the modern city of Puebla, and served as a trading outpost. And that's all I read on that, which was under Aztec control, rather than over... Help me, TMH. Oh, Huejotzinco. I got it. Huejotzinco, which was an ally of Tlaxcala. They were surprised Cortez had stayed in Tlaxcala so long among a poor and ill-bred people. Cholula was one of the most important cities in Mesoamerica, the second largest and probably the most sacred.
What happened?
Okay. Its huge pyramid, large in volume than the Great Pyramids of Egypt, made it one of the most prestigious places of the Aztec religion. However, it appears that Cortez perceived Cholula more as a military threat to his rear guard than a religious center. As he marched to Tenochtitlan, he sent emissaries ahead to try a diplomatic solution to enter the city. So he saw it as a military threat. Which, if am I taking the correct thought to this, that it was more like a temple, if that makes sense, something like a temple, spiritual place.
Tenochtitlan was more of the political realm, because Chichen Itza was your spiritual place.
So it's like your DC.
Yes, you had
Okay.
your rulers there. You had your what they call the three caciques there that ruled. So we may get into that at a later date on who those leaders were again. And as Brother Thomas brought out, the people were paying taxes. Just wanted to say that one more time. So before the Europeans came, the Indians were paying taxes to the caciques. So I just like saying that. So, but yeah, it was more of the political center, because that was the man-made island to reconstruct the landmass that is still underwater today.
Oh my goodness. I just had a thought, and I think it's a question. So correct my thoughts if I'm going wrong. So what established and was done to bring about what we now know now as the Declaration of Independence, seeking refuge, wanting to not, freedom of religion and all that jazz. If that something like that were to happen now, which would technically be repeating the past, if something like that were to happen now, where would the refuge be? Would the refuge be Africa? And would that be the repeat that actually colonizes Africa? That's just me thinking, like, and if I'm wrong in me thinking that, it was just realizing that Cortez looked at this area as a military threat. And with you breaking down that this was basically like DC, this is like the capital, this is where you have your politicians, this is where you have your leaders, this is where everybody comes together really basically and strategizes, right? So it makes sense that he looked at it as a military threat, but history always repeats itself. And it just made me think about coming forward, Declaration of Independence, that now with all the craziness of separating from a government that is, no,
that was that, and once that was destroyed, then you move into the religious aspect. That's why you start seeing them go back into Tenochtitlan. So when you go into Tenochtitlan and that is destroyed, then you start going back into Chichen Itza. This is why the Tutuziu and the Itza was so dead set on not having the Toltecas come into the holy place. It wasn't just about like, ooh, some mystical things are going on here.
Right.
It was the sacred writings were there. The sacred language was there. For those that are listening, what they call Paleo-Hebrew was there.
Right.
So once you know you have the ancient writings and you have the ancient language, you can communicate with anyone. That's why I say again, you start reading that the people thought that Cortez was Kukulkan reincarnate
Right.
because he knew the lingo, he knew what to do, he knew how to dress, he knew how to stand. So they're like, it has to be him. It doesn't matter about, because again, you don't get into colorism is dealing with race.
Right.
That didn't exist. So all they're saying is, again, he's saying the right things, he's doing the right things. It's got to be Kukulkan.
Right.
Because we realize, again, oh man, I know I'm gonna get in trouble, but when people say that someone is coming back, they're returning as they were. And that's why I say when you understand cultures, that's not what it meant. For example, some of my children can do things and I can say, you're acting just like your great grandmother, who they never saw.
Right.
Does that make sense? So you can say,
Yeah.
that's my great grandmother reincarnate. She's acting the mannerism, the way she cuts her eyes, the whole nine. When you say something that's off the wall, the whole nine. That's what we meant by someone coming back. The spirit of that person coming back. Because again, now we're gonna talk science. What's the third law of thermodynamics? That energy is neither created nor destroyed,
No,
only
just transfers.
transformed.
Yeah.
So that's science for those. We'll talk about everybody talk about science. And they talk about those elbows, don't talk about science. So there you go. I yield the mic.
Did that answer your question, Miss Gabrielle?
Yeah, it did. It did. Thank you. Thank you,
Why you
dude.
sound so disappointed? I'm sorry. Did you want me
No,
to give
I
you like
just
this
no.
extravagant answer?
It wasn't you. I just caught this picture and the two pictures that are on the side, and the first one was sad, but the second one is a little bit more sadder, and it just hit me at the same time that. So all of that, the information you were saying and seeing the picture and then understanding. Yeah, the picture got to me at the same time while you were speaking to me. So all of it processed at the same time. Wait, can you hear me? Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Queen Copper says the Mayans were all about science. Yeah, they were.
You know, go where? Go seeking where? I mean, all the answers are here.
What are you talking about, Gabrielle?
Just in general, if we just pay attention, well, I mean, and it's not a if we, because I'm still paying attention and I'm still learning and I'm still seeing. It's just one of those things just to see these words and know how they're in play right now. With restaurants, cities, towns, businesses, even down to their, what's it called? Their emblem, their logo. Okay, did I go too far?
No.
Okay. Oh. I'm just saying, and then now I'm remembering all the things learning that I was taught, things that were said, like just didn't go away. And this is growing up in California.
Ohio player says flower of life, the macabre.
Oh man, Ohio play a roller coaster of love.
Say what?
Let's go. Hey, this is go. Is it? See, oh man, don't tell me I have to do another late night. With Doodoo and friends. Oh man, because you go get going and talking about. I see again that comma, grandma's hands. Oh man, but you gonna understand?
Oh my goodness!
You gonna understand? It's gonna lead. It's gonna lead you back to Peru. When you go back to Peru, there is a saying, and there's a saying in a song again that is not. I'm glad that it's not the what we call Teano music, that pum 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 pum, which is nothing but German, aka Polish, aka pull out your accordion, doing that polka. But this was a song, so I said look up the lyrics. It says ay 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 ay.
Ay 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 ay.
I'm going to go back. You going what he just put in the chat is gonna lead to something, but I have to save it for a later time. That's why I said we're gonna get back to that language.
This is a family friendly show.
Yo, see, somebody was taking notes. Somebody's been taking notes.
Ohio player says, check my link in the forum I posted, the 369.
Y'all gonna learn something today. Woo!
James, I still remember where I was at when I first heard that reference. I was cutting grass in the springtime. I was like, is that what that song was?
When you were going around in circles instead to stay in the shade.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna see how this all connects. You gonna see how it all connects. Don't let the smooth taste fool you. You talk about the Khalifa out there in California. That was the buffer to keep the coast safe from those that were coming by ships. Brother Bones had already broken it down. If you look at the Chinese vessels, the Chinese, what we call the Chinese today, although they wouldn't call that then, were coming over to the Americas. Some wanted to contribute positively, and others wanted to take over. And you'll find out that the battles kept going on between the Tutu Ziu, that's teamed up with the Itza, which were your navy, against the Tolteca, until the Tolteca went and got help. And that's when the power shift started to occur. So now you have the Toltecas, their allies, you're going to find out, are Chinese. And when the Chinese came over with their gunpowder, using cannons, that's when it shifted. That is why you're going to find Olmec heads with divots in them buried. Because after the Tutu Ziu and the Itza lost the battle because of the cannon in what we know as Mexico today and the Yucatan, they had the people dig these deep holes because they couldn't move the Olmec heads. So they just pushed them into the holes. And that's why they can't explain why do these have divots in them? We don't understand what kind of machinery did they use. Dummies, go and find out about the cannon and the Chinese, which is why I say it again, the only other people that use more fireworks than in China is Mexico. Go check it out for yourself. If it's sunshine, let's pop firecrackers. If Granny made a pie, let's go pop firecrackers. I yield the mic.
And Queen Copper says, hence Chinese business throughout South America today.
And that's why you have so-called Chinese-looking Indians in charge of these Indian tribes. And I'm not just talking about southeastern tribes. I'm talking about going into Mexico and going into South America. And they will tell you they've always been here. Because you think, again, that they talk about the She people, again, going back to the Olmec, but there were those that came back She people because they were all over in Asia, in what we know as Northeast Africa, India, these same people. I want to paint the picture that these weren't just a couple of people on just a couple of ships going over. These were people going in great numbers. This is why you see these various establishments. So when people come back, you're living in the land with other people. That's why I say this out of Africa theory is going to be shot. So when people are coming back over here, coming back home, returning, again, you have some that are still keeping true to the culture that was here, that their ancestors taught them and passed it down through the elders and the wise ones. And then there were those that picked up other cultures and wanted to implement those cultures over here. That's where the conflict started. That's why when you read, well, what the Tolteca? Who are the Tolteca? Where are the Tolteca? The Tolteca was straight. All they wanted to do was take over what had been established for millennia. And then they were no different that when Cortez and his crew came and they got mad and started battling, then all of a sudden they wanted to come back and try to make allies with those of us that we had just got through fighting. That is why you see Cortez focusing on Cuba, Puerto Rico, a couple other of the Caribbean islands, and coming into Tenochtitlan and then trying to get into the Yucatan and getting into Mexico. He couldn't pull that stunt in the southeastern states because we rallied the troops with the people that were already here in the southeastern states and said, you're not going to be able to do it. So on paper, you have, this is Spain, this is Florida, West Florida, but they wasn't running it like that. You don't see the Spaniards running anything like that. You see the conflict comes in between the Spanish-American War getting into Cuba. This is why. This was established by Cortez and that great harlot and what they did. Because once you overcome or overtake someone physically, now you can get them spiritually. That was the key. So they didn't mind implementing those customs into Catholicism because they're saying, oh, they still let us celebrate our days. They didn't have a problem with that. That's what they do. That's the same thing that when the Aztecs, they just changed the name to the language because, again, it's going across the water and the names may change a little bit, but they still mean the same thing. That's why people get caught up in, oh, they call this here, so that can't be the same thing. I'm like, no, look at the characteristics. Because some people, I give myself an example, some people call me Doo-Doo, some people call me James Flames, some people call me Choctaw Jimmy. And those that were in my sacred circle call me by my spiritual name. Am I still not the same person just because you call me by different names? It's real simple when you break it down. I yield the mic.
All right, peace, Pamela Hall. We'll talk to you later. Golden Moon, aka says, Golden Moon, aka KD says, I still don't get it. Algebraic data formulas. I don't know what he was in reference to. I'm sure someone in the chat can answer that question. If not, we'll get an answer for you. Golden Moon. Okay, Gabrielle, what are you clicking on? You still clicking on stuff out the James? So you know how to click on anything?
I'm not on mute.
Yeah, your mouse is telling on you.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because algebra deals with the letters. A plus B, and finding out what A and B is to make up equaling C.
Just remember, X is unknown.
But X also marks a spot.
Yahtzee.
Hmm.
Bingo.
Wow.
Because it goes back to that saying, you don't know what it is, but you have it. When people say you have it, but they can't put their finger on it. That X still gets back to the she, which is your spirit. I don't mean to blow people out of the water that they're dealing with. If you don't deal with that, that's fine. But like I said, I double dog dare anybody to go and get a CPR mannequin and try to blow your life into them. They're not just going to get up and start walking and talking. You better think about it. And when you transition, you take that last breath and it's and that person is gone. That's their spirit leaving their body.
And it's interesting that you say that, James, is because there have been studies done, numerous studies, that says the body becomes lighter when that person dies.
Yep, they become like a crash test dummy. You can pick them up and do it. It's like, why are they? Because people try to figure out, and I don't want to make this gory, but when people murder people and they try to figure out, well, how did they able to move that person? They're so much smaller than the person that they terminated. It's like, yeah, they become lighter because your chi, as and I say, everyone look at that clip with Eddie Griffin when he's talking about the chi and when he talks about how a little guy can dominate a big guy. He says little guys beat big guys up because a little guy has more chi. When they talk about, Bruce Lee was a little guy. Bruce Lee was little, but he had a big chi. So it's dealing with the spirit. So that chi is, again, where you get that chica. Same chica dealing with the great mother. So when the great mother, when her spirit passes, it goes on to the next great mother. That is either by blood or elected. The house is dealing with the mother, which is why Chichen Itza was so important to the Maya, aka Azteca, which were one of the same people, just some came back from across the water. That's all it was. So you didn't hear about all these great battles going on between these different groups. You have some that took the name, like you have Tolteca, which you know that Tolteca was foreigners. And then they try to mix the Toltecas and Aztecas, and you're like, oh, they one and the same. No, they are not. Different groups of people. And people today, just like you have those that are claiming to be Indians, but they Native Americans. You have those that are claiming to be Azteca, but they are not. They are foreigners, and and you see the dumb dances that they do that don't make sense, and they just dancing around. Oh, I'm not gonna say dancing. They prancing, as my grandma used to say, they prancing around in a dumb circle, flopping around, looking stupid, and don't even know what the dances mean. And like I said, and then they'll take some stuff, they'll get some kind of herb, burn it, put a little bit of something in their hand, and it's just a reason for them to spit on your face. Check out my videos. Don't go down to Mexico think you're going to get some magical cure with somebody spitting in your face. You go right ahead, you spit on me, I'm going to slap your face. I'm out.
What kind of watch was it? Where's that time yes.
You spit on me, I'm going to smack you black. I'm sorry.
Hey, it takes time, TMH. It takes time.
I'm not talking about black as in the fake race. I'm talking about black as in dead. Gabrielle, you sure is quiet.
She over there clicking on buttons.
Mm-hmm. Cause she muted.
I got one rib, and rib means window.
She done muted herself so can't nobody hear her clicking. She guilty. Look, she ain't even responding because she ain't even listening to us.
I am listening.
You sound guilty. You know that?
She said, I am clicking. I mean, listening.
Good people. It's that time. It's time to head on out. So, Gabrielle, aka the clicker picker upper.
Shut up.
Got anything you want to share with the good people before we be out and let them go on with their day of being productive people in their communities and their tribes?
Wait, say that again?
Do you have anything you want to say to the people before we leave them and let them get on with their day with being an asset to their community and their tribes?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So, do your genealogy. Don't let nobody tell you who you are, because regardless of what you find, it's not like everything's just gonna be all pretty. I mean, stuff was rough. But no one can tell you who you are. No one can debate with you. No one can. Just doing your genealogy, you know who you are. You may not know who the next person is, but you know who you are. So if they try to tell you, oh, we all this, no, we not. I'm not. You may be, but I absolutely am not. I know who I is. So do your genealogy. It's very, very important. And it's really serious. It's really rough out there. Storms, blizzards, and intense stuff, oh my, is going on. So it's definitely important to not only do your genealogy to know who you are, but to know who you're dealing with and what you're dealing with, and to also see, like, for me, I know that we're reading history repeating itself. This is why there's nothing new under the sun. And so it's just really and really important to get back to what we've gotten away from, or allowed ourselves to get taken away from, or however you'd like to categorize. It's just really, really important. Help out in the community. Talk to your peoples. Talk to your neighbors. You know how they have those neighborhood watches? Well, those neighborhood watches came about because people wanted to come together and make sure, people's houses didn't get robbed, or whatever the case may be. So if neighborhood watches can be established, then what kind of other neighborhood watch can be, established by just getting together with the neighbors and start off small, start off small, start on your street and work your way out. Eventually it'll catch on. It's like a cold. You sneeze, somebody else will catch it. Probably a bad analogy, but I'm just saying. Probably
a bad analogy? Okay.
Probably a bad analogy. It's like pollen. Terrible. Okay. Okay. It's like pollen. Pollen spreads everywhere.
That's it?
So, yeah, that's, okay, no, that's kind of it. I got something, double cousin in the wee hours of the rising of the day asked me to share something with everyone. Small differences. We must not, in trying to think about how we can make a big difference, ignore the small daily differences we can make, which over time add up to big differences that we often cannot foresee. Peace to the panel, peace to the chat, peace to the silent majority, prosperity, positive energy. But yeah, I know the saying, stay prayed up, stay read up too. So peace, blessings, and prosperity.
All right, no sellout. You had your ghostwriter do some stuff for you, so what you gonna do?
You know I ain't gonna do nothing.
You gotta do
Peace to
something.
the panel. Peace to the chat. Peace, everybody. Thank y'all for coming out. We'll see y'all mañana.
Really? That's it? That's all you got? That's all you gonna say?
I mean, yeah, unless you want my two papooses over here to speak for me.
Nah, I don't think the world's ready for that. Yeah, two younger notes. Not yet. Not yet. Doodle Vision, James Flame, Choctaw Jimmy. What you got for the good people?
Another hot one. It took me a while to get in because I was trying to decide which of the 30 million windows that Gabrielle Union had open that I needed to jump through. You know, decisions. Like a kid in a candy shop when they say pick one candy. I was like, which window do I jump through? So stop clicking over there because I know that's what you're doing. That's why you're being so quiet and on mute. You're gonna end up clicking on something and you go all them pop-up windows like back in the day with AOL. So you go ahead and keep popping up, see what happens to you. Computer gonna be in the shop. And when you talk about that code, you're gonna be spreading those computer viruses. Stop clicking on all those links. I'm telling you. But I appreciate it again. I appreciate everything that everyone does on the panel. I know Brother Bones is busy multitasking over there, things that are being done to close out this year. I advise again, get involved in your communities. Keep doing what you're doing. Find out who your local representatives are. Find out who your state representatives are. And start getting that information. Because information is power. Power leads to empowerment. Empowerment leads to self-sufficiency. There's a huge difference between being self-sufficient and being a sovereign citizen. Let's stop playing. So I appreciate everyone on the panel again, because it's the last Monday of this year. Appreciate those that tuned in last night that didn't get any sleep like myself. No sleep till Brooklyn. Thank you, brother. No sellout. Brother Thomas was still holding it down, going from meeting to meeting. He's starting to be like me now. When you go from one meeting to another, they all start running together.
Man, listen.
You know, it's like what's that? You don't know which end is up. Going at that movie with Richard Pryor. You don't know which end is up, which way is up.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I appreciate it. It's Brother Copper Indio. I know he's still back there. I'll tell you, he crushing windpipes to close out the year too. That's why some people are being totally silent. They faded to black. Speaking of, that new Grudge is coming out too. Y'all better check it out. To Brother Kerry Bay out there, the carpenter's son. I know he's up there building some great edifices out there. In case y'all didn't know, y'all better check him out. Y'all ever in the booth, go see what he can do for you. Man, like I say, it's just a lot out there. Shout out to Lady Free out there. You was right and we was wrong. So just let you know. It's all those in the chat. Man, keep dropping those bombs. I got to check in on some people in the Dallas area that's been MIA for a little bit. I sent out some messages, so hopefully get back in touch. Golden Bad Moon Rising, I got you, man. Like I said, things are starting to slow down between now and then. So we all gonna have to physically get together and probably go live and sit down and have some discussions. To everyone else, is Ohio player, roller coaster of love.
Say what?
He just throwing them links out. I'm telling you, I'm gonna start calling him the meat man. You know, the meat truck used to come and sell all the meat. He's like Tracy Morgan on Head of State, selling that meat. He just throwing out them links, man.
You vote
them
for
links.
what?
In case
President of what?
What? Oh man. Oh man. Tracy Morgan, I'll tell you, I don't sleep on Tracy Morgan, man. The
Yeah,
best
please
ad
don't.
lib comedian there is. Don't sleep on Tracy Morgan, man. But yeah, that's Ohio player. I'm telling you. Throwing out them hot links in case y'all didn't know. I tell you, the most intelligent chat in the cosmos. I'll leave y'all with a couple of words. That's with this being the last Monday since we were talking about that chi. I know some people gonna come back and be like, oh, here they go. And I knew they was in the cook and not understanding. Like I said again, I said before and I say it again. If you remember as a kid, or if you've watched kids do this, they can be friends. And they start playing a little tickling game, tickling each other. And eventually one of them says, stop. They're still laughing, but they say stop. And the other person doesn't. Then the other person starts crying like stop, but then they're still kind of laughing. All of a sudden it turns into a fight. That is because you breathe in oxygen and you exhale carbon dioxide. When too much of that carbon dioxide leaves your body, it starts to impact your chi. Which is why when you're doing all that laughing and tears start coming out and something starts coming out of your bladder and you say, stop, stop, stop. That is because it is the same effect as when you sneeze. That a little bit of your chi is escaping. That's why the Germans say Gesundheit, or we say bless you. For that reason, they say you're on the cusp of death when you go through that transition. So when they keep tickling you and they don't stop, it turns into a fight because your body does fight or flight, your chi. That's science. For those keep talking about, we don't talk about no science, they ain't talking about no science over there. That's science. And I double dog dare you. Tickle somebody today and see if you don't get punched in your jawbone when they tell you to stop or kicked in your sternum.
Oh, that's self-defense.
Exactly. Keep let somebody fool you and thinking you go ahead. You try. And I know some of y'all know what I'm talking about as kids when that was you like, I told them to stop. And then somebody walking around with a black eye because they got punched in the eye. You told them stop tickling me. And then people like, well, you were laughing. Don't get it. Anyway, on that note, I want you to think about this. If you think the Micmac didn't have anything to do with Ladino, or what we don't know as Paleo-Hebrew, ancient Hebrew, and all Hebrew means is the people from across the water, and we're not talking about across the river, we're talking about across the bodies of waters. So the continent, and I don't even want to separate them, but the continent that can come from both sides of the great waters, what we call the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean, would only be the Americas. Yeah, okay. Just a little note. I would like for some people, here's your homework. One word to look up. Chicago. And no, for those that are Googleologists, it does not mean onion. Chicago. With that, I yield this cotton picking mic. Guado.
I done learned. I'm gonna leave that mic there, and I got another mic. So I ain't gotta touch that mic. So I'm gonna let that mic sizzle, like sizzling. Let's see. Peace, bliss, and grand rising to the new subscribers on both the Cap Grand Rising YouTube channel and the Toxinous Assembly website. Peace, bliss, and grand rising to the silent majority. Peace, bliss, and grand rising to the best chat on Earth. Appreciate the panel. Appreciate the members of A2, those that support A2. Everything we do is to help people find out who they are, because we're not here to tell you who you are. We're here to help you find out who you are. Period, point blank in the discussion. We expose you to the information that we come about that we can prove. If we can't prove it, we'll let you know that we can't prove it, or we have yet to prove it, or it's our opinion. So proof is not a problem over here. Don't get it twisted. At the end of the day, there are many ways to solve our problem. The problem is not that there is no solution. The problem is that a lot of the solutions that are being presented, there's no proof that it's prosperous for our people. So if there's no proof that it can be presented or promoted, perpetuated, or profitable, then we should bid peace to it and leave it where it's at. Remember, they can't prove that it works. Why even be bothered with it? You know, understand the difference between a sovereign, a citizen / national. Understand that if you make a declaration or you sign some documentation to renounce your citizenship, which is synonymous with national, you are a refugee and you are stateless. And if a nation doesn't recognize the nation that you are a part of, you are a refugee or you are stateless. And just because a fake nation is allowed to speak at the United Nations does not mean it's a recognized nation. So with that, I say peace. And I'm going to turn the mic over to Bones H. McCoy so he can do what he do. And I am going on mute.
I appreciate it. It might be a little noisy background. Give me like 30 seconds.
He just needs 30 seconds. So do I ad lib?
I'm all right, man.
Go ahead, bro.
No, I'd like to thank the panel for all the work that they put in every rising to make the show what it is. I'd like to thank the active chat. I'd like to thank the silent majority. And mainly, again, let's remember as we do our genealogy and go through this history, the main purpose is to tie in, to find out who we are, where we come from. So we have a better idea on what it is we're supposed to be fixing and where we're supposed to be going. And get out of the habit of letting people tell us who we are or get us to get emotional off of a particular word or stance. It's time for us to realize we have a job to do. And we got to stay focused no matter what any obstacle is thrown at us. Stay focused, handle our responsibility, and we're going to get our job done. So on that note, everyone continue to have a very, very blissful day. Take some time out to do your genealogy. Learn more about your community, what you can do to make change today. And until we link up to the next Rising Show, remember we love you and peace.
Peace, everybody.
I guess no sellout's busy, so peace.
He probably counting broccoli.
Yes. All right, y'all. Take it easy.
Warning, warning, warning. Hard hats, pickaxe, shovels, boots required.